Hello children, today in this lecture we are going to continue the electrolysis of molten or fused lead bromide. So the electrolytic cell, as I told you already in last lecture, that it is made up of silica and the crucible heated slowly from outside with the help of Bunsen burner, as you can see here. Okay, this is the crucible made up of silica and heated out from outside with the help of Bunsen burner. Then the crucible is made up of silica since it is non-reactive, withstand high temperature, and is almost a non-conductor of electricity. Solid lead bromide is a non-conductor of electric current since its ions are not free but held together by an electrostatic force of attraction. The ions become free when lead bromide is in the fused or molten state. Hence, the crucible is heated to maintain lead bromide in the molten state. So, what is the requirement to heat up the crucible from outside? To retain lead bromide in its molten state. Okay, students. The second point, the metallic lead ions are discharged at the cathode because lead ions are positively charged and cathode is negative pole of the cell, as lead metal and lead bromide is liberated at the anode, and lead and bromine is liberated at the anode. So bromine, because bromide ions are negatively charged, so these ions get collected at the anode and liberated in the form of bromine. The cathode is an electron donor and metallic lead ions need electrons to discharge at the cathode as neutral lead atoms or metallic lead. Okay students, so lead ions, cathode is an electron donor. So because lead ions are positive charge ions and cathode is electron donor, so these lead ions will take electrons from cathode and will convert it in the form of lead. Hence the lead ions gain electrons to form metallic lead atoms. The lead atoms are then deposited as a silvery gray deposit around the cathode. Bromine ions give up electrons. Bromine ions, bromide ions give up electrons and get converted in the form of bromine atoms, and these bromine atoms join together to form a bromine reddish brown gas. Okay, and bromine molecules by forming a covalent bond between them. So bromine molecule will form, which are neutral bromine molecules, which are formed by neutral bromine atoms. So reddish brown vapors of bromine are hence seen at the anode when the molecules of bromine escape from the molten lead bromide and evolve as bromine vapors. The cathode and anode are inert in nature and generally made of graphite. The electrodes are inert since they should not take part in the reaction. Otherwise, they would prevent the discharge of respective ions. Then, a graphite anode is preferred to other inert electrodes such as platinum. Why? Because graphite is unaffected by the reactive bromine vapors. Okay, and other inert electrode can react with bromine also. So that is why we avoid other electrodes. Then summary of electrolytic reactions of fused lead bromide. So these reactions we have already discussed in the previous lecture. Same reactions are given here. Compound formed between a metal X, that is lead, and a non-metal Y, that is Br, on electrolysis in the molten or aqueous solution state generally liberates or discharges at cathode metal in the pure state, and at anode non-metal in the gaseous or vapor state. Okay students, moving to next page. Next example of electrolysis, and that is the electrolysis of acidified water using platinum electrode. Acidified water is also known as acidulated water. So normal water with few drops of sulfuric acid or any other acid is known as acidulated water. So addition of acid makes water more conductor of the electricity, or simply you can say make the water conductor of the electricity, because water itself a covalent compound. So electrolytic cell as shown above. This is the electrolytic cell which is used for the electrolysis of acidulated water. So electrolyte water in the form of water, acidified water. Anode is of platinum, cathode is of platinum also, and after electrolysis you will get oxygen at anode and hydrogen at cathode. So as you can see, with the help of this area, volume of oxygen is about half of the volume of hydrogen. So volume ratio of the oxygen and hydrogen is 1:2, and this volume ratio is proving that water are made up of two molecules, two volume of hydrogen and one volume of oxygen, as it is indicated by its molecule H2O. So 2:1 ratio is there between these two elements. So same ratio is shown here also. So electrolytic cell as shown above. Electrolyte, acidified water. Electrode, cathode and anode both are platinum foil. Inert electrode. Temperature, ordinary room temperature. Current 3 ampere. Electrode reactions. So because water is acidulated, so sulfuric acid is present there. It will dissociate in this form, hydrogen ion and sulfate ion. Water will form H plus ion and OH minus ion. So overall two types of negative ions and one type of positive ions will be in the medium. Okay, ions present: hydrogen, sulfate ion and hydroxide ion. Reaction at the cathode. Cathode with positive ions, cathode hydrogen ion will reduce in the form of hydrogen, and these hydrogen after combination with other atom of hydrogen will form hydrogen gas. H plus ions are discharged at the cathode. Why? Because H plus ions are positively charged and cathode is negative pole of the cell. As neutral hydrogen atoms, by accepting electrons, hydrogen atoms form H2. Then reaction at the anode, OH minus ions will discharge in the form of OH, and these OH will be converted in the form of oxygen. Okay, so product at the anode will be oxygen gas, 1 volume, and here 2 volume of hydrogen. So OH and SO4 2 minus both will migrate towards the anode, but discharge of OH minus will takes place. Why? Due to the preferential discharge, because in electrochemical series OH is present, then the lower side of sulfate ion. Okay, so lower in the electrochemical series. Unstable OH radical forms water and oxygen. Since electrolysis of acidified water involves reduction at cathode and oxidation at anode, so it is also a type of a redox reaction. Okay students, the next page. Electrolysis of acidulated or acidified water. So electrolysis of water is carried out on water acidified with dilute sulfuric acid. Pure water is almost a non-electrolyte and will not normally conduct electricity. It consists almost entirely of molecules. So it can be electrolytically decomposed by addition of traces of dilute H2SO4, which dissociate as H plus ion and SO4 2 minus ion. Helps in the dissociating water into H plus and OH minus ions. Okay, so the amount of sulfuric acid which we are adding in water will helps to change water molecules in the form of ions. Water being a polar solvent. Electrolysis of acidulated water is considered to be an example of catalysis. Why? Because sulfuric acid is acting here as catalyst. Dilute sulfuric acid is preferred to dilute nitric acid for acidification, since nitric acid is a volatile acid, may decompose, and the nitrate radical may tend to interfere with the electrolytic reaction. The current is passed for a prolonged period of time because collection of the gases for the purpose of accurate comparison. This ensures saturation of the gases in the electrolyte, since solubility of oxygen differs from that of hydrogen. So prolonged period we use for the passage of current. Okay, because we want to collect hydrogen and oxygen gas in appropriate amount, the amount 2:1 ratio. Okay, so it will take time. Then hydrogen is liberated at the cathode and oxygen at the anode. Cathode, the H plus ions migrate to the cathode, and at anode these two ions will migrate, but the preferential discharge will be of OH minus ions. Concentration of sulfate ions at the anode increases due to presence of excess H plus and SO4 ions at the anode. The concentration of H2SO4 increases at the anode and decreases at the cathode. But the total concentration of H2SO4 molecules remain the same, since it is the H plus ions and OH minus ions which are actually discharged at the electrodes respectively. Okay students, so the amount or concentration of sulfuric acid is not going to change. Okay, it means it's not taking part in this change chemical reaction. So we are considering this sulfuric acid as catalyst. Okay students, because sulfate ions are not going to discharge on any electrode. The ratio of hydrogen and oxygen liberated at cathode and anode is 2:1. As per electrolytic reaction, 4 H plus ions are needed at the cathode, 4 OH minus at the anode, and 2 molecules of water are produced at the anode. Okay students, so this is the overall change under electrolysis of acidulated water. Then dissociation of acids. Strong acids dissociate completely, almost completely. Okay, so if it is a strong acid, H plus and X minus ion will form, because this acid is present in aqueous medium, so H plus and aqueous medium, so ions present in solution will be this and this. Okay students, now in the case of weak electrolyte, ions present in the solution will be this and this, and also undissociated molecules of HX. Okay, undissociated molecules. Same way, dissociation of strong electrolytes, only ions will be present in the medium. Okay, and if weak alkali will be there, then ions and molecules, undissociated molecules, both will be present in the medium. Okay students, moving to next page. Electrolysis of aqueous copper sulfate. So aqueous copper sulfate, no problem here, as simple as we discussed in previous two examples. Electrolysis, this is a vessel, non-conducting, copper sulfate as electrolyte, copper anode and copper cathode. So dissociation of aqueous copper sulfate will produce copper ion and sulfate ion. Copper sulfate, water is there, so water will also produce ions. So these two type of positive ions, these two type of negative ions will be there. So out of these two positive ions, the preferential discharge will take place of these copper ions. Okay, at cathode, and out of these negative ions, preferential discharge of this OH minus ions will take place at anode. Okay students, so this you can see here. At cathode, copper ion will produce, copper ion will discharge in the form of copper, or copper ions are discharged at the cathode as neutral copper atoms, and at anode, because active anode we are using, active electrode, anode is present of copper, so this anode will take part in the reaction. So anode will produce copper ions, and that is why the discharge of sulfate or OH minus ion, any of these ions will not take place here in this case. Why? Because electrode, that is copper electrode, is itself is an active electrode, so it is going to take part in the reaction. So no discharge of any negative ions at the anode, neither are discharged. Copper is an active electrode and itself takes part in the reaction. Okay students, then to next page. This method is explained here. The electrolyte aqueous copper sulfate may be acidified with traces of dilute sulfuric acid. Acidification of the electrolyte with traces of dilute sulfuric acid enhances the conductivity of the electrolyte. So just keep this reason in your mind. May prevent hydrolysis of the electrolyte. Two reasons are there. Copper ions are formed at the anode if copper electrodes are used, and oxygen is formed at the anode if inert electrodes are used. So this is the difference here. Example, platinum or carbon. So using active electrodes, when copper sulfate will dissociate, so at anode copper ion will produce. This anode is not going to take part. Okay, this anode is going to take part itself only. Okay students, so anode is taking part, so there will be no any discharge of negative ions here at the anode. But if inert electrodes are there, then at anode preferential discharge of OH minus will takes place. Okay, so overall oxygen gas will be produced here. So these are the summary of that reactions. All the points we have discussed already. The last paragraph, the blue color of aqueous copper sulfate solution remains unchanged during electrolysis of aqueous copper sulfate using copper electrodes. Why? Because when we use copper electrodes, then anode is forming copper ion in the solution. So the copper ions which are discharged at the cathode in the form of copper are fulfilled by the anode in the form of copper ion. Okay, and the blue solution of the aqueous copper sulfate is due to the presence of copper ions. So there will be no decrease in the amount of copper ions in the solution. That is why color of the copper sulfate solution remain blue, remain unchanged when we are using copper electrodes in electrolysis process. Okay, but fades when platinum electrodes are used. Why it fades? Because in that condition at anode discharge of OH minus ion is taking place, so there will be no formation of copper ions, only use of copper ions is taking place at cathode. Okay, so due to the loss of copper ion in the form of copper neutral atom, the color of the solution will fades away after some time when we are using inert electrode in electrolysis. Okay students, so this is just all in this chapter. Thank you.